Here's a crazy stat. Over half of new businesses are going to fail within the first 5 years. But our nurses who come through Catalyst are getting their first clients within 1 to 4 weeks. Let me tell you why. My name's Randy Lovelace. I've been a nurse for 26 years, have a master's in business, and I have built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses from the ground up. But here's what I want you to understand. Becoming a successful entrepreneur is not about having some special talent or being born with business genes. I wasn't. Instead, it's about having the right system, having the right training, and having the right support. And today I'm going to show you exactly how nurses just like you are beating the odds and building successful legal nurse consulting businesses when most other entrepreneurs are out there struggling or failing. Now, let me get real with you right from the start. When you're starting a business, I think too many people paint this rosy picture that just isn't accurate. According to the Small Business Administration, here are the facts. 20% of new businesses fail within the first year. 50% are going to fail within 5 years, and 80% fail within 20. Why do they fail? It's not what most people think. It's not because entrepreneurs aren't smart enough or don't work hard enough. Here's the real reasons. Number one, they don't understand their market. They build something they think people want instead of something that people actually need. Number two, they run out of money before they become profitable. They underestimate how long it takes to get a steady income flowing. Number three, they don't know how to market their self effectively. They might have a great product or a great service, but they can't get clients. Number four, they lack the business systems and the processes needed to scale. They can do the work, but they can't run a business. And number five, they get overwhelmed and they feel isolated. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, and without support, many people just give up. Now, if you're a nurse thinking about starting a legal nurse consulting business, these statistics might scare you, and honestly, they should make you cautious. But here's what I want you to understand. These failure rates apply to people who are trying to figure it out on their own. But what if you didn't have to figure it out on your own? This is exactly why I created Catalyst Coaching and Mentoring, to stack the odds in your favor, instead of leaving you to figure it out through trial and error. Now let me show you how we address each of those 5 failure points. Problem number 1, not understanding your market. In traditional entrepreneurship, you really have to guess what your market wants. Well, in legal nurse consulting, we already know. Attorneys need medical expertise for their cases. The market is proven. It's an established market that's growing. But here's what most LNCs don't understand. It's not enough to just offer medical expertise. You have to understand exactly what attorneys value, how they think, what their pain points are, and how to position your services as solutions to their specific problems. In Catalyst, we teach you the attorney's world from day one. You learn to think like they think, communicate in a language they understand, offer services that they actually want to buy. All right, problem 2 was running out of money. In traditional businesses, they often require a huge upfront investment: inventory, equipment, office space, employees. Well, I like to call legal nurse consulting a cheat code on entrepreneurship, because you can establish and scale a successful business with nearly no overhead and very little in startup costs, especially when you consider what you're going to be making. The ROI, return on investment, is honestly just a no-brainer. But more importantly, we teach you how to get profitable quickly. Our clients, like I said in the beginning, typically get their first paid cases, their own cases, making $150 an hour within 1 to 4 weeks of starting to market the way we teach. And that's not including subcontract cases that they typically get within the first week of finishing their practice case process. See, this isn't years of building and hoping. That's immediate income validation. Amanda, she's one of our Catalyst clients. She completed over 80 cases in her first 8 months of marketing. Rachel, another, went from bedside nursing to managing 8 active subcontractors in under a year, guys. These are not anomalies. This is what happens when you follow a proven system. All right, problem 3 was not knowing how to market and sell. This is where most legal nurse consultants struggle, even the ones with great technical skills. They know nursing, but they don't know business development. In Catalyst, we're going to give you the exact marketing scripts, the email templates, the follow-up sequences, the sales conversation frameworks that work specifically with attorneys. You're not guessing how to approach them. You're following a proven system. And here's a unique and beautiful part. We also teach you how to lead with questions instead of pitching. I did a whole video on that last week. Attorneys respond completely different when you approach them as a strategic partner instead of another vendor trying to sell them something. Okay, problem 4 was lacking business systems. Most entrepreneurs have to create their own systems, and it can be really expensive trial and error. In Catalyst, you get our complete business framework from day one. Project management systems, quality review checklists, contract templates, invoicing process, subcontractor management, everything you need to run a professional business is already built in and already proven. Andrea, another of our Catalyst clients, she went from being laid off in her job to being COO of my legal nurse consulting firm, Loveless Legal Nurse Consulting. And she did that in under a year because she mastered the systems so well. Now she's managing multiple $10,000 and $20,000 cases simultaneously because she has the business infrastructure to handle that level of complexity. All right, problem 5 and the final problem we're going to talk about was overwhelm and isolation. And guys, this is huge. Traditional entrepreneurship can be incredibly lonely. You're trying to figure everything out by yourself, making mistakes that cost you time and money and wondering if you're on the right track. You don't even know. And in Catalyst, you're truly a part of a community of like-minded nurses who are on the same journey. You can see that in almost every testimonial video on my YouTube channel, and I do one every week. These nurses are constantly saying community, community, community. You get to ask questions 24/7 and get answers from people who understand exactly what you're going through. Shauna, she's one of our clients who's building her business while raising a toddler, and she said to me, I would have given up a long time ago without the community support. But instead of giving up, she successfully completed multiple cases and built a practice that works around her family needs. Let me tell you about some of our other success stories because I want you to see that this isn't just working for a few lucky people. This is working for nurses from all different backgrounds and situations. Chelsea, she had 4 brain surgeries while building her business, including having to deal with her father's cancer diagnosis. Most people would use that as an excuse to just quit. But she didn't. She followed our system. Now she has 20 cases under her belt and has transitioned away from bedside nursing completely. Kelsey, she wanted a work-life balance more than maximum income. She started Catalyst while she was expecting her first baby. Now, she worked from home while being present for all of those special family moments that she didn't want to miss. Sarah was a travel nurse who had a back injury and couldn't continue in her previous career path. She finished Catalyst in just 2 months because it was her full-time job during her recovery. She got her first case the day after finishing. Now she's traveling the world while running her business remotely. She was literally swimming with turtles in the Galapagos Islands while managing 4 cases through trusted subcontractors that she got through Catalyst. Alex, my goodness, Alex increased her income nearly 14 times in just over 1 year using our system and under my mentorship. She's now growing her own subcontractor bank and building true wealth, not just trading time for money. And here's what all these stories have in common. These nurses didn't have some special entrepreneurial background. They were bedside nurses, travel nurses, experienced nurses, newer nurses. And what they had was the right training. They had the right system and they had the right support. Now let me tell you why legal nurse consulting is uniquely suited for nurse entrepreneurs. First, you already have the core expertise. You understand medical terminology. You can read medical records. You understand how the healthcare systems work. You're not starting from zero. You're leveraging the knowledge that you've spent years developing. And second, the market is so wide open, guys. Attorneys are out there who need medical analysis for their cases. You just have to understand how to grab their attention and form the relationships that are going to keep cases coming week after week. You don't have to create the demand. You just got to position yourself in a way that meets the existing demand. And third, it's a relationship-based business. Once you prove yourself to an attorney, they're going to keep coming back over and over. And then they'll refer you to other attorneys. This creates compound growth that most businesses never have the chance to achieve. And fourth, legal nursing is recession-proof. People don't stop getting injured or sick because the economy is struggling. If anything, medical malpractice and personal injury cases often increase during times of difficult economic stress. But here's what I want you to understand. Having a great business model isn't enough if you don't know how to execute it properly. That's where the training and support can become critical. In traditional businesses, you might spend years and tens of thousands of dollars learning these lessons through trial and error. In Catalyst, you get to learn from my mistakes and the success of hundreds of other nurses who have gone before you. Now, let me address that claim I made at the beginning about getting your first client within 1 to 4 weeks. Traditional business advice will tell you that it takes months or even years to get a client base. But that's what most businesses are trying to create in new markets or competing with an industry that's so well formed with a massive competition. Or they're trying to work to change people's behavior. In legal nursing, the market already exists, and there are very few LNCs out there competing with you who deeply understand how to excel in this field. Attorneys already know they need medical experts. They're already spending lots of money on medical expertise. The question is not whether they'll buy. It's whether they'll buy from you. And when you approach attorneys with the right message at the right time, with the right positioning, many of them are going to give you a chance relatively quickly. But, and this is important, it has to be done right. You can't just call up an attorney and say, "I'm a nurse, you want to hire me?" You've got to understand their world, and speak their language, and position yourself as the solution to their already experienced problems. That's what we teach in Catalyst. And that's why our success rate is so much higher than typical entrepreneurship statistics or statistics from other legal nurse programs. We're not defying the laws of business. We're literally just playing a better game with better preparation and better support. So look, here's what I want you to get. Entrepreneurship doesn't have to be a roll of the dice. Yes, upward of 80% of businesses fail. But that's mostly because people are trying to figure it out on their own without proper training, support, and a pathway that's proven. You don't have to be a part of that statistic. In Catalyst Coaching and Mentoring, we've created a comprehensive system that addresses every major reason why businesses fail. You get proven marketing positioning, rapid income generation, effective marketing and sales training, complete business systems, an incredible support community, and more than that, you get to leverage the experience of hundreds of nurses who have successfully made this transition before you. You get to avoid the expensive mistakes and learn from proven success. If you're ready to become a legal nurse entrepreneur with the odds stacked in your favor instead of against you, I want you to check out our free training where I'm going to break down the complete framework for building a successful legal nurse consulting business. You already have the medical expertise. Now you can get the business expertise to match it. Your successful legal nurse consulting business is out there. It's waiting for you. The link is in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.